What scientific fact scares the absolute shit out of you? Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. It's genetic. You won't know that you have it. When you know that you have it, there is zero recourse. It will eat holes in your brain, and you'll die. That, and fatal familial insomnia, also genetic. One of your parents woke up one day and couldn't fall back asleep until they died, having suffered rapidly progressing neural degeneration. And it tends to set in around midlife, so you spend every day waking up knowing it might be the last time. You find it hard to build relationships and have a family because you know it's not a matter of if, only when. But you know you're not going to see your golden years. The metaphysical aspect of consciousness. Where is consciousness? What is it? When does it really end? Where does it go when we die? When we sleep? How does it occupy our entire being without being physically present? We are quite literally the universe experiencing itself, in a fragile little bubble on a mote of dust in a sunbeam. And yet, what exactly are we? That's the sort of question that keeps me up at night. I don't fear death, I don't fear world annihilation, but I am deeply unsettled by the mere experience of being aware. The Pacific Northwest has a 600-mile-long subduction zone that is approximately 70 years overdue for a 8.8 to 9.2 magnitude earthquake, and nothing on that coast is built to withstand that. There has never been a strong earthquake on that coastline since European contact, because the last major earthquake happened in 1700. Unlike Japan, which had a comparable earthquake in 2011, the PNW isn't ready for it, and things aren't built to withstand what's coming. Someday soon, Seattle, Vancouver, Portland, and Victoria are all going to lurch 6 feet inland, shake violently for 5 to 7 minutes, and then get hit with a 100-foot-tall tsunami. It is projected to kill tens of thousands, displace millions, and wipe out trillions of dollars of wealth. The second largest humanitarian disaster in North American history, second only to Haiti. And it seems like people are just pretending this doesn't exist. Reality is surreal AF. We live in an environment where supercharged bolts of plasma spontaneously appear in the sky and can fry you to a crisp and explode you in a millisecond, then disappear without a trace. Clouds can leave the sky and touch the ground at 200 plus emph and pull you hundreds of feet in the air or flatten your town, again gone without a trace. There is a microverse that exists within our environment that holds microscopic murderers, constantly attacking your body for any points of weakness, all while you go unaware of the silent threats. Consciousness is the greatest mystery of all. My personal perception creates my reality. There is no way to prove any if it is real, because no one could ever experience your version of reality. Life could be one big hallucination. Even our 5 senses are only able to interpret pieces of our environment to create a version of perspective and experience. The thought of any of these scares TF out of me. I woke up on a nice Saturday morning almost 1 year ago with an aggravating pain in my kidney area, thought nothing of it. Within about 2 HRS it had gotten bad enough I decided I had a stone, and went to ER. Within 4 hours of waking I was passing out from pain in ER lobby, finally moved to a room, sedated, and after a series of tests, found to have pancreatitis. Very aggressive and severe, I was completely sedated, in ICU for 8 days, developed pneumonia, almost dying. Pulled through, was back at work 2 weeks from day 1 like nothing happened. I think about it all the time, how easily we could go. Perception of reality is really just a simulation in your brain. Similarly, a dream, especially a lucid dream, can be as vivid, impactful, and profound as any waking moment in your life. For those that go into the deep end of lucid dreaming, the difference between waking life and dream becomes laughable.
I had a dream that was distressing and I woke up. Then I went back to sleep and the same dream started replaying. I realized I was on a replay and I knew that I was asleep, but I consciously decided to play it out again. I had a strategy in my head to make it better this time. It was surreal. My eyes were closed, I was in the dream, but I was also right there on the couch. I could feel my dog snoring and shifting next to me. I heard landscapers outside. In the dream, I was stressed. In real life, my heart was pounding and my breathing was shallow and I was scared. The dream got to a breaking point and I basically said, "Okay, enough," and woke up all the way. This was at the starting end of the most severe couple years of insomnia I've ever had. I'd had a couple lucid dreams before, but that one, I can play the memory back like watching a video.
So far, we have discovered many exoplanets possibly capable of life. However, the outlier seems to be us. Nearly every exoplanet is bigger than our Earth. Yet there's a chance we are the only planet that has life that we know of, due to our inability to explore beyond the moon via shuttles and that, well, everything seems made to kill us, even our own planet and race. Scarier, we have yet to explore even a tenth of the oceans on our green and blue planet. Oh, and we are overdue for another round of comet bombardment, worldwide extinction event, and a solar storm. Actually, no, we dodged one recently. Coronal mass ejections could wipe out all the satellites, electronics, and the electrical grid on planet Earth, with a big direct hit during a time of a weak magnetic field, or flipping magnetic field. From my AI friend, while a substantial coronal mass ejection, CME event, could potentially cause some disruptions to the power grid and electronic systems on Earth, it is unlikely that it would wipe out all electronics and power grids across the planet. However, there is still a possibility that a massive CME could cause widespread blackouts and other disruptions that could take a long time to recover from. The severity of the impact of a CME would depend on a variety of factors, such as the size and strength of the CME, as well as the state of Earth's magnetic field at the time of the event. It is important to note that scientists are continuously monitoring the sun and potential CMEs, and steps are being taken to protect the power grid and electronic systems from such that at any point, which can be very, very close to use due to general majority's mistreatment of waste medicines and antibiotics, fungi and bacteria might become resistant to the effects of antibiotics. And you know what? As of now, we don't have any way of dealing with them other than the sad antibiotics, or any methods that won't harm living cells, which happen to be what we're made of, long-term or short-term. In other words, the most known and used non-antibiotic ways of dealing with fungi and bacteria are the ones that would harm us too. So yeah, even if the Last of Us Fugus doesn't come around, a pandemic from a fungi or bacteria has a higher chance of being an apocalyptic event than one from a virus like COVID. Autoimmune syndrome, literally biological coup. Your own defenders attacking you. And they still don't know exactly why it happens. It just happens. You might sleep totally healthy, and the next morning you start showing symptoms of type 1 diabetes. At any point, a supernova millions of light years away from us might eject a beam of gamma rays with impossibly high energy at us. And since those rays travel at the speed light, by the time we realize what's coming, we'd be fried into our making atoms within a microsecond or so. Aging. The fact that our body just naturally deteriorates, becoming weaker and more prone to illness and injury. I'm approaching 40, and for the first time in my life, despite a lot of fitness hobbies, I'm starting to feel it. Longer workout and injury recovery, odd aches and pains, gray hair, interrupted sleep, colds and flus kick my arse now. It's strange seeing a progressively older version of myself. I'm not scared of death, but aging becomes ever more unsettling as time goes on. It's the proverbial elephant in my mind. Advanced alien life either exists and isn't capable of reaching our planet, and we aren't capable of reaching theirs, exists and has reached our planet, but is being hidden from the public as a whole for unknown reasons, exists and has reached our planet, but doesn't wish to make contact with us for fairly obvious reasons, or doesn't exist at all, and we are alone and destroying the only planet that has life such as ours. Also, a possibility exists and is planning invasion, or worse, already successfully invaded the planet and is currently enslaving us. See, lizard people. The fact that a solar flare directed at Earth could knock out the power grid and plummet the world into absolute chaos. Transformers that require a year each to build, if you have power tools, would be fried. Supply chains and personal vehicle travel would grind to a halt. Food supplies would quickly run out, because most modern humans rely almost exclusively on grocery stores and restaurants for sustenance. Financial markets would be gutted. Money would become useless as the world economy is turned upside down. Society would implode on itself. Famine and lawlessness at a scale which humankind as a whole has never seen. Every single medical issues or infectious disease you could have and not know is terrifying. I can have terminal cancer run and not know. Maybe I have some sort of fucked up prion and won't know till my brain is fucking deteriorating. Maybe the cat scratch I got the other day gave me rabies and I'll fucking die. Maybe the cough I've had for the past week just suddenly kills me. You literally would have no idea about these things till it's either too late or you get tested or see a doctor. Also, the fact your immune system is constantly combating cancer cells, it's pretty scary. The fact that we don't know more than we do know. For all we know, we could figure out how to create life, and then suddenly the sun decides to explode, or even a solar burst that wipes out the planet. On top of that, as we know it so far, Earth is the only known planet with intelligent life. Even if there are other Earth-like planets, we're decades away from reaching them, and we have no idea what could be on those planets already if they can support life in the first place. So many variables to consider, but so much progress to be made. A true journey into the unknown, equally terrifying as it is beautiful. The fact that there are potentially dangerous asteroids out there in space that could collide with Earth at any moment. I mean, think about it. We could be going about our daily lives, minding our own business, and suddenly a massive asteroid could come hurtling towards us and wipe out all life on the planet. It's a terrifying thought. And the scariest part is that we don't really have a foolproof way to prevent it from happening. Sure, scientists are constantly monitoring the skies for potential threats and working on ways to deflect asteroids if necessary. But there's always a chance that something could slip through the cracks. Just the fact that we'll all die someday. No way to beat it. I try to not let it affect me. I try to imagine that I was non-existent before I was conceived. So why should I be scared to no longer exist? That's setting aside the pain and suffering that many of us will experience in the last moments/days/years of our lives. I'm well into adulthood, and I still cannot find a coping method that deals with the thought of death.